back up to the top, we have a few credits to change along the way. So let's play it from the top. We expect the guest image to be popping in here. There it is. So now if I go into the graphics, I can do this other ways too, but I'm going to go into my graphics window and say edit, and it's going to bring up this particular graphic that I had already inserted. Doing all the graphics is its own long tutorial, and you can learn these things on YouTube, but basically you take things from the browsing menu and you drag them onto the clip. But once they're on the clip, then there are things that you can edit from there. So for instance, choosing Tom Christensen, I'm now going to change it to Philip Jones. And I'm going to change this probably on to trombone. I don't know that it has to go to tenor trombone, but I think maybe I'll say open trombone. I think that's what I've done on the other ones. So now that's there. If I click back a little bit, then that will become part of the rendering picture. Let's see, let's back this up here. Pause it to let the computer catch up a little bit, and you will see that he's there now, and that works, and then that fades, and it works towards yours truly, actually Philip, to start it up. So he follows this credit. So that's the opening credits, and then we get to the closing credits way over here, and we have to make sure that we've got the proper thing going here. So first credit is, I think, to the tune. So we'll get that showing. So it's a template. I don't need to change that. I just need to change the thanks to Philip Jones. Those credits are already put into, and here's the one I need to change. Many thanks to Alright, so that's set. And then I believe my credits are done. That will, of course, deliver much more smoothly when it gets to the end of the work after it's rendered, and then the final credits are there. So then it wraps up at 6 minutes. So hypothetically now I've done all the editing I need to do for this piece to print. Now I have to print it. I go up to Sequence and look at the sequence settings. And you can experiment and learn what is best for you and for your project. I tend to use QuickTime and animation, or QuickTime and sometimes I use one of the DNXs here. But the QuickTime and animation seems to do the job well. We have a width and a height that's predetermined by my project, so I don't need to change anything here, but there are options. You know, you can change a lot of this information. Some of that will speed up perhaps your rendering process in the final print, and some of it will slow you down amazingly. I'm going to cancel this because I don't need any of that done. Now I'm going to get ready to print this. So when I print this in the background, all I need to do is go to Media, which I know the short term for, but I'm going to go over here and show you. So I want to export this as media. It's Command down. Once I do that, it brings up, it will bring up in a minute a menu that will allow me to choose a file name and a location for the file to be in. And also it'll let me know whether I want to just choose to render maybe just a very short portion of this, like maybe just a few frames. I can take this and like drag it over here and say, oh, I just want you to give me a final version of this much of it, so that when it prints, I can really tell in that short segment what it looks like without having to do my entire video and then discover that, oh, it's not sharp enough or whatever. So that's an option. But what I want to do, since I'm pretty confident that this template works, is I'm asking it to do the entire sequence. And you can see the big blue line there. We need a title for this, and it gives a default title. When this was the I Remember Christensen, it was this. We're going to go over to a release video for, let's see, have we created one yet for Phillips? Yes, I'm sorry, that's Russ Phillips, not Phillips Jones. So let's create a new folder with Jones. And we're going to change Christensen to Jones. Match 4, and now it's going to say, okay, that's where we're going to save it. And now you can see that's what it's called. So it's always good to make sure you title things well. Now the various other settings that I have here are defaults from my previous experiments and learnings. There's one thing I'll look at, but these are generally good things. Now this match source button is something that I did not originally do a lot of, and it's good that I discovered this button. So when you click it, it turns blue, and then it says, okay, I'm going to match the final print to the best resolution of the contents of what you have. When I don't hit that button, sometimes things like musical examples that I might print in there turn out blurry. And I was like, oh, I forgot to match source button. So now I think we have a plan. We have an MP4 with a title of García Jones. I've matches in here to remind me to match source, which I did. And when I hit export, it's going to, I can also decide to put it in a queue and do later, but I'm going to hit export. It's a 6-minute video. It's going to first start encoding the sound track, which is going to find is actually one beautiful soundtrack. It doesn't need any editing. And then it's going to start thinking about all of the video edits that I've put in, and the fades and the graphics and all that. And originally, it's probably going to say that it's going to take, maybe 3 hours and 49 minutes. After it thinks about it, it's going to start shrinking that down. Now, this is a 6-minute video. So it's going to start shrinking the amount of time that it takes to print it. And my guess is, if we were to stick around, it might end up taking about an hour and 10 minutes, maybe. And once we're done here, I'm going to shut off the QuickTime screen movie taking and the audio hijack audio taking, and that should speed it up too, because the computer will have more memory to allocate to this. So maybe it takes 2 hours and 19, but again, I'm pretty sure it's going to take about an hour and 10 minutes to render this resolution of the whole thing, which is why you may want to do a test at any time of your editing, maybe very early in your process. If you're new, you might want to just select some ins and outs of about 30 seconds of one section and render just a selected portion, and you can get that maybe in 5 or 10 minutes and see, oh, I'm on the right track, I'm doing good things. If I didn't like what I saw, I could hit cancel, but I like what I see, and I think I'm in good shape, so I think I'm ready to have a premierable version of my virtual duet on I Remember You with Philip Jones very soon. Thank you to Mr. Jones for his willingness to perform with me virtually, as to all of the previous and future collaborators on my project. I'm grateful for the opportunity to make music with people that I miss during the pandemic, and this is one way to get together. I believe that covers things. Thank you for watching, and you can review as many times as you like in order to figure it out. Over and out.